Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is the tarot for Saturday the 9th and Sunday the 10th of January 2021. Hope you're well wherever you are. This will be a major arcana reading using the ancient Italian tarot. So if you watched the reading from Friday the 7th, I do apologise. I was a little bit exasperated. A little bit exasperated. But anyway, let's move on. So, weekend of the 9th and 10th of January. Right, I'll just finish this shuffle. Very nice. Oh. And we get the Hierophant. So, the Hierophant, how do we express what we believe? That's what the Hierophant is. The Hierophant is when we take the sense of presence and self-aware existence, the ego, if you like, and we put it into, that's of the High Priestess, and then we put it into a form where it can be kind of exited from us in understandable form and expressed to the outside world. The Hierophant also embodies our belief systems and kind of collective belief systems, collective moral law, collective spiritual law. So that's here in the upright, so that's pleasing. Right, let's get another one. Okay, we get the World in the reverse. Yeah, so when everything seems a bit upside down and a bit inside out, wrong way up, nonetheless, we're still here with this Hierophant energy. Okay, let's get the third one, and then we can start seeing what is woven from this for this weekend. Sorry, I need another one. There we go. Right, that's quite clean. Okay, the Moon. So yeah, I think I would call this holding on. Hold on to holding on. The Moon, it's hazy, cloudy. It's like the generalized sort of unknowing of our lives. We just don't know from one day to the next, 1 hour to the next, one moment to the next, what is going to happen. In many respects, we don't even know what is happening. And one aspect of that is here in the Moon card, where the illuminating object is not even in itself an illuminating object. It's the light of the sun bouncing off the surface of the Moon, and it's very difficult under those circumstances to know what's what, to know what's real. That's what the Moon is about. What is real? And what is kind of under the surface, and the stuff that's under the surface kind of bubbles by a natural process up to the surface. And sometimes what bubbles to the surface is very difficult to understand, because it hasn't been kind of honed and built in the daylight. And that aspect is represented by the lobster, the mysterious lobster in the Moon card. The lobster that lives alone at the bottom of the sea for a very, very, very long time, by virtue of some weird genetic anomaly it has. It just lives for flipping ages, a lobster. and it's down there kind of shedding its shell, regrowing a new one on its own under the surface, unseen, solitary for the longest time. And here it is, it's somehow bubbled up to the surface, and it's like, what is that? And that's what, again, that's another aspect of the moon energy, like what is that? I can't work out what that is. It's here and it's real, but I can't see what it is because I didn't see it being built. So it's this, it's weird stuff sort of coming into, crystallizing into our vision, that we can't quite make out what it is. And it's, as I say, it's kind of second-hand knowledge at one remove. So the energy of the Hierophant here is most welcome. This is about hanging on to our personal moral code, and our personal moral code in terms of how we express that and live that in the outside world. When everything, as I say, seems to be on its head. I'm going to get another one, I think, on the world in reverse here. I'm just going to get another one. Yeah, there's so I just want to say about this Hierophant energy here. There's a kind of push and pull I can feel in this card today in the context of these two cards. A push and a pull between the personal and the collective. You know, what of ourselves do we actually express publicly? How do we express it publicly? Is it through sort of what we wear, what we say, what we look like, facial expression, posture, what we write, maybe stuff that we're kind of saying on social media or on the internet, on message forums and stuff like that? You know, how do we communicate to the world what it is that we are inside, especially when the world is upside down. Okay, we've got the Lovers here. Yeah, listen, it doesn't matter ultimately which way we jump. Sometimes a choice is put in front of us. This card used to be called the Choice. Sometimes there's a step to take where if we try to keep a foot on both sides of the bank, so to speak, we're going to end up like in some sort of mess. There's a little country path near where I live that every winter gets very, very muddy. And the first time I ever walked on it after we'd moved here, this is our fourth winter here, I remember trying to avoid the mud. And I thought the path was thin enough for me to have a foot on each side of it where the ground was a little bit more solid. So I thought, yeah, I can do this. I can sort of make this stretch. And I went along, going forward along this path with this great big like area of really thick, deep mud right underneath me, with a foot on each side of this path. And I was going along, and as I was going along the path, it was getting wider and wider and wider. And it's like I had to go back and negotiate it in some other way. Because if I'd carried on, I would have fallen into the mud. Okay, so there's something here about choice and about the inevitability of moving forward. I mean, in that respect, I had to go back and renegotiate the choice. I couldn't have both sides of the path. I couldn't have both sides of I couldn't have I mean, this is not an example of it, but I couldn't have my cake and eat it. I couldn't have a path. I couldn't have both my feet parallel on solid ground. I had to choose one or the other. And that was because I wanted to move forward. I wanted to go along the path. It was natural to want to go forward, this evolution into the future. And what we see here is this little cherub here, who appears in all mythical traditions. And this little cherub is basically that kind of ambition, that drive. It's the energy that makes a baby start to stand on its own 2 feet. It's the energy that makes young people want to go out and learn to drive. And it's the energy that makes us want to sort of read a book to find out what's in it. It's that drive forward that can't be denied. But sometimes in moving forward into something, we have to permanently leave something behind. And we can't have both sides of the coin, if we like, heads or tails. And so there's a sort of, not urgency in that, but there is an urge here to move forward, and there's clearly something to be thought about in that respect. But I can't see what it is yet, so I'm going to keep. Okay, that was nice and clean. Sorry, I'm describing my own shuffles. Right, we've got the Magician in the upright. That's nice. So we can make something of this situation if we are prepared to be clear, and I would say probably more in ourselves, well, always in ourselves, if we are prepared to be in contrast with being clear in terms of what we got to mean what we say. Basically, we got to mean what we say and say what we mean. And if we can do that, if we can stick to that very simple rule, and I see that here, that rule. The Hierophant is about rules of kind of inner conduct in terms of how the inner is expressed on the outer. Sticking to that simple rule, say what you mean and mean what you say. And if the rest of it, if the rest of the extraneous stuff, and when I say that, I'm thinking about this moon card here as well, this sort of sloshing, irrelevant, insignificant stuff that we can kind of get imbued with and get invested in and find exciting, but it's all ephemeral, it's nothing. There's a real invitation here to hone it down. Say what you mean and mean what you say, and that's where the action is. That's where the manifestation is. It's simple, it's clear, but it's very difficult to do. I can tell you that for nothing. I remember once I went through a period where I only said what was necessary to say. And I mean, I couldn't keep it up for very long. Circumstances changed and I moved on. But I tell you what, for that period, it didn't last very long. But for that period, I really didn't say very much at all. But here, in the matter of how we describe ourselves to the world, when the world seems to be akimbo, I am just getting that from the Lovers card. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And if you say stuff that you don't mean, I think saying stuff you don't mean is probably more likely to lead to trouble than meaning stuff that you don't say. Okay? Saying stuff that you don't mean is more likely to lead to trouble for you than meaning stuff that you don't say. If you just keep it quiet, if you're not sure whether you mean it or not, don't say it. Okay? I've got no business telling you what to do, but that's a very, very clear message I'm getting from this. The ephemeral, the irrelevant, the hearsay, the gossip, the stuff on social media, the stuff on Twitter, the he said, she said, he said that she said that he said that she said stuff is not going to be helpful. If it can't be verified and you don't mean it, don't say it. One more. Right, annoyingly, strength in the reverse. Check your motivation for saying things. Check your motivation for expression. What is it you're hoping to achieve by saying whatever you say and writing or typing whatever you write or type or key in? What do you want people to know about you? And if it's, well, only you can answer that. Only you can answer that, because that wanting is embodied here in this lion. And that wanting to assert the kind of the hunger for whatever it is for which we are hungry, and that wanting to satisfy it now, that quick hit, that quick buzz, that affirmation, that I know I'm here and I know I'm right because other people are telling me that I'm here and I'm right. That hunger, that need to be seen and to be acknowledged is something that can run riot and get out of hand. And again, I'm getting this kind of this chain reaction, this chain letter of he said, she said, that he said, that she said, that they said, that we said, that those, on and on and on. These chains of expression running through our systems can really, really lead to trouble. The exciting and the juicy and the controversial are, very attractive to us. The spectacle, very attractive to us. The bright, shiny, kind of, juicy, ooh, have you seen this? And oh, what about that? And oh, and it's all very kind of, very heightened. A lot of it is ephemera. It's just froth. And I'm getting that from the moon as well. And if it's not coming from your heart, if it's not coming from your soul, if you don't really mean it, you could end up with your ass in the mud. Right? I'm going to leave it there. It's little children running around going, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's never going to help. And it's not going to really get anything done. So for the last time, say what you mean what you say. And you can't go wrong with that. Right, I really am going to leave it there now. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.